Peace, peace, beautiful beings, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, I am Coach V. I'm a holistic certified life coach, speaker, author, and the creator of the Mental Health is Sexy brand. We're serving the look today, y'all. We are serving the look. We got the red going. We got my little scarf on. Now, if you saw yesterday's episode of Mental Health Mukbang, I had the fro out. It was shrinking by the minute. Today, I got my two braids in because when I wear my hair out today, I want that crinkly, wavy look. So the king and I, the country boy, are stepping out this evening. So I just want to look full and wavy and luscious so I can sweat it all out on the dance floor. So I got my two braids in. Y'all gonna get this two braids bandana tease and we're gonna talk about some things. This is episode 6 of a mental health mukbang. And I'm so amped today because this is the first episode of many where I have a sponsor for today's meal. So when I reached out to a couple entrepreneurs, I asked for them to support or sponsor this new venture on YouTube with either a meal or a dessert. And we got our first dessert today. So we're going to open it. Let me see if I can show it to y'all right quick. So I just took it out of the refrigerator. So it has like the little refrigerator frostiness, but I hope y'all can see this. These are cupcake cheesecakes. Oh my goodness. So there are two that are Oreo with mini Oreos on top and two that are strawberry. Now first let me tell you this. I love cheesecake. So I'm super excited to try this out. You will see at the end of this video the information for the Black-owned, woman-owned business who provided this for today. And as you see from the opening picture, we're going to talk about our sis, Tamar Braxton. Now, I purposely put a photo up of her by herself because we're going to do another episode when we talk about that good David. And I use the term good loosely. But that's for another day. Today, we're just going to talk about Tamar. We're going to have some desserts. We're going to be fabulous in our reds. We're going to invoke positive energy and love towards sis. We're going to talk about mental health and some observations. And hopefully, y'all get some value out of this content. So this cheesecake is provided by Alicia. Alicia's social media and her phone number will be in the description box as well. And yeah, we in Cincinnati. So if you're in the Cincinnati area and you need someone to make you some gorgeous cheesecake cupcakes. Now, I don't know all the flavors she has. I can just tell y'all what I got. And that is Oreos and strawberry. Yes. So I don't want to mess up the name. I'm so excited. I should have checked first, but I didn't. So you know the word deliciously, right? We know that word deliciously. Try to say aliciously, like Alicia and deliciously put together. Aliciously. But again, her email will be in the description box if you're in the Cincinnati area or surrounding areas and you want to check out with these cream cheese or cheesecake cupcakes. I'm so excited to get into them. I can't even get my words together. So let me just open up this package. So Alicia, thank you so very much for providing this, for being my first official sponsor of Coach V's Mental Health Mukbang. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me show y'all these. And hopefully without tilting them out the package. Look at that. They smell so good. And like I said, I love cheesecake. So I'm officially a cheesecake connoisseur. So I'm super excited. And I got some water to wash it down because this is why. I can't be hooked up on sugar. So instead of me having my lemonade like I had yesterday or a sugary drink, I just went ahead and grabbed my Nestle Pure Life and we're going to make it do what it do. So what should I try first? So my favorite is strawberry, so I'm going to try the Oreo. Just because that's what I want to do. And I got two of them, and I'm not sharing. I told my family about them, but I didn't explicitly say I was going to share it with them. Look at that, look at that, look at that. So I'm taking the cupcake cup off. Look at that. Where the camera? There we go. It smells so, so good, y'all. It smells so, so good. Mmm. Oh my gosh. I know she provided these to sponsor today's mukbang, mental health mukbang. And if you're new to my channel, my mental health mukbangs are candid conversations about mental health while enjoying a meal, or in this case, a dessert. Deliciously. Oh my gosh, this is so, so awesome. So, oh, and you can just break a piece off. Y'all, give me a minute. Because it's a cupcake, so I might as well just finish it before we get started. Y'all, I don't know how to make cheesecake. My mom, peace and blessings be upon her, made cherry cheesecakes regularly. And then my country boy makes us cheesecakes, strawberry cheesecakes, for special occasions. So we only get them like once or twice a year, like Thanksgiving or Christmas. But baby, Alicia, you did your thing, sis. And again, thank you so much for believing in my dream and sponsoring this mukbang. And don't trip. See how that? I'm about to get that right off. And we ain't editing. Y'all get to see everything. Now, I like Oreos. So I can just imagine if this Oreo one is so delicious, how the strawberry one gonna taste. Oh my gosh. Sis, you did your thing. So whatever platform you see this uploaded to, check out Alicia's information in the description box. Her business card will be attached at the end of this video. Hit her up. Woo! That was good. All right. Let's chat about the good sis Tamar. Shall we? Tamar is one of the many celebrities that have shared, whether by force or voluntarily, that they've experienced mental health challenges. When we think about Tamar Braxton, some words that may come to mind are loud, a little bit ghetto, a lot of bougie, talented, amazing singer. Some words may also come to mind like plastic surgery, low self-esteem, drama. We keep it 100 here. Candid mental health conversations. So when we talk about those things, pardon me, let me drink some water. When we talk about those things that are Tamar, it leads me to want to look a little closer as to what may be going on with sis that we don't see. Physically, we can see if she's getting into arguments or fights or storming out or pouting. We can see all those things physically. I want to bring attention to the things that we can't see, the things that are going on internally, the things that may be mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually challenging during this time. I predict that Tamar has been having these types of mental health challenges, emotional challenges, spiritual battles for a while. What's happening is now they're being brought to the forefront, and so now we're just finding out or being introduced to what sis may be going through. So, she's already talked about depression. Usually depression and anxiety go hand in hand. It can be induced from our thoughts, which are internal, or it can be induced from external stimuli, such as her challenges with her television show contract, relationships she's been in, physical appearances. She may feel too big, too small. All types of things may be going on. And instead of clowning sis, I would like for all of you here watching to think about and consider what it would feel like to be in her shoes and what type of support, love, encouragement, and peace you would like to be sent to you. It's easy to talk about somebody. It's easy to say, oh, this your karma because you be acting A, B, C, D, and E. It's easy to say, oh, follow your faith. It's easy to say, pray about it. But when it comes down to mental health challenges, whether you're clinically diagnosed or not, those things to come out of that valley take real life action, right? So I encourage people to pray. I encourage people to meditate. I encourage people to think about and ponder and make different moves around certain things that trigger them. But I also encourage people in the same breath to take action. Action can be a therapist. Action can be being committed to a psychiatric facility. Action can be receiving a spiritual cleansing. Action can be meditating with stones. Action can be taking a prescription medication. Action can be not taking a prescription medication. But there's work that needs to be done, point blank and the period. And a lot of times when there's mental health challenges, such as that appear to be present with Sis Tamar, the energy is going to come out and manifest some way. Now, we're used to seeing people act out or act crazy or speak to themselves. That's easily identifiable in society to say, oh, you got some mental health issues. But what if they don't manifest that way? What if they manifest in me always making sure I got the best of the best shoes and clothing on? The best wigs, face stay beat for the gods. I have a very over-the-top, sometimes offensive personality. My tolerance is low for other people. I always want to play the victim. I come out and rear. What if mental health challenges manifest in those ways? But if we're not educated on signs to look for, especially in the Black community, we'll write off those manifestations as being, oh, you just being too much. Oh, you just dramatic. Oh, sit down somewhere. Oh, you such a drama queen. Oh, you messy. Oh, why you being so mean? We are so trained to excuse away people's behaviors as anything else but a mental health challenge. How many times we have people in our life, personally or professionally, that has behavior that is completely over the top, that we may not understand, and we say this phrase, oh, that's just how they are. That's just how they are. I've heard many people say about Tamar that you either love Tamar or you don't like her. Like that's it, cut and dry. And oftentimes, people like that who have experienced some sort of deep trauma, and Tamar was forced to talk about her sexual trauma on both sides of her religious family. Sometimes when people experience a trauma and the trauma is not addressed or healed properly on a deep soul level, they do anything and everything in their physical power to prove to you as well as the people around them that they're okay. They take that secret, or sometimes not a secret, box it up and bury it in the deep recesses of their mind. And a lot of times people like that create one or more additional personalities to hide that person who's been buried in the deep recesses of their mind, that's been traumatized, that wasn't protected, that wasn't cared for. They create this over-the-top persona to distract you and themselves from that hurt person that's buried back here. Think about it. We're going to have another conversation soon about some other celebrities who are very talented, very outgoing, big personalities that have recently admitted that they have unresolved trauma from their childhood that may have trickled off into their adulthood. So that's just going to prove my point furthermore. So remember this conversation. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell so that you know when I upload new content. And when you see that new video, go back to that video and say, I remember you mentioning this in episode 6. Can you do that for me? Like, help us sister out. Help us grow. Yes, I done opened up strawberry. Y'all, I almost snatched my bandana off. But I called it. I knew that this strawberry was going to be double hitting just because the Oreo was already regular flavor hitting. I already knew. I could be partial and biased too because of how much I love strawberries. Y'all, if you love cheesecake, but you want like maybe a smaller, more individualized dessert, these cheesecake cupcakes, baby. If you want to sponsor a video, you can either one, send me a message on whatever platform you see this, or 2, visit my website at www.coachvmp.com. Send a message of interest there, and we'll hit you back. Okay. If you don't know, I wrote a self-help book entitled Renew Your Mind, Take Charge of Your Mental Health, 8 Alternative Ways to Improve Your Quality of Life. The first chapter of this book is entitled Learn to Forgive Yourself for Being Duped. That chapter breaks down and talks about how when we first are brought into this world and we begin to start learning how to hold our head up, hold our bottle, crawl, walk, run, potty train, say our ABCs, write our name, identify our family members, identify colors. We are so celebrated by those who love us. Is crazy. There's clapping, there's dancing, there's, oh my God, such a good job. We're being shown off to everybody else so that they can see the new things that we've learned. We feel like so boss. We feel so amped up and so encouraged because the people around us made it a big deal when we learned a new skill. They poured into us compliments. They hyped us up. They cheered us on. They made us repeat the alphabet 11 times so that we can show that we've learned this new skill. And then at some point in our development, at some point in our life, the praising stops. Excuse me. When we learn new skills or make new accomplishments, the praising stops. Or for the fortunate ones, they're still praised, but it's not a huge spectacle as it was when we were younger. If we're around someone who is hurt or jealous or have a negative mentality or spirit, or their mental health has been challenged, the praising turns into critiques and negative behavior and lack of support and abuse and judgments and so on and so forth. So that foundation that we had when we were younger of being supported and being encouraged and we're doing awesome and we can do anything and the world is our oyster, now turns into we're nothing. Why are you so stupid? You're not pretty enough. You're too fat. You're too skinny. That was a dumb decision. Why don't you think next time? And worse. There's some people that go through worse. So what happens is we are trained by repetition to believe the things that people have told us. And it's even worse and even more deep-rooted when those types of negative thoughts are implanted in us by people who we care about, people who we look up to, people who we admire. So that could be a religious leader, a school counselor, a teacher, a parent, a sibling, a best friend, a mate, a neighbor who we cherish. When people like that dump on us, we begin to believe over time the things that they've just dumped on us. And what happens is, because we start believing those negative thoughts, we very rarely live out our full potential. And because we get stuck in that moment, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, we begin to try excuse me, wow, that's that cheesecake and water. And I ain't editing nothing, we real over here. We begin to desperately try to prove to ourselves, as well as people around us, that we're none of those harmful things that people have told us. And how do we do it? We spend a lot of money on our hair and makeup, a lot of money on our clothing, our shoes, the kind of car we drive, the house we live in, the type of person that we date, how our children look, jewelry. We begin to invest in things physically, materially, to make that person inside who was hurt feel better, and to make people on the outside not believe the harmful things we believe about ourselves. And it can be people who knew nothing about our past. It can be people who knew nothing about the harmful things people taught us back when we were younger. But we're so desperately trying to recreate who we are on the outside that person in the inside gets buried further and further and deeper and further inside. So my first chapter of the book is talking about learning to forgive yourself for being duped, because we are duped into believing we're nothing. We are duped into believing our life means nothing. We are duped into believing we're not worthy of greatness. We're not worthy of love. We're not pretty enough. We're not in shape enough. Our money ain't up enough. We are duped, hoodwinked, and bamboozled into believing these things about ourselves. And once we believe those things, our mental health is further deteriorated. I'm saying all that to say this. I believe that that's what happened to our sister Tamar. I believe that she was believed, bullied, abused into thinking she was nothing at a very young age. That she wasn't pretty. That she wasn't smart enough. Maybe even growing up, she was compared to her sister, her more famous sister, Toni. She experienced so much abuse, not just physically, sexually, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Can you imagine what Sister Tamar may be thinking, being raised in such a religious environment, but then being abused repeatedly by those same people in that environment? Can you think about how her faith in God's been tested? Can you think about how it is to feel and believe that everything that you were taught coming up religiously may be a lie now, because where was God? I don't condone or support plastic surgery. I walk on the path of people do as you will. I ain't got to worry about it. But I do think as many times as Tamar has gotten plastic surgery, Lil' Kim comes to mind as well, that no matter how great we tell her she looks, when she looks in that mirror at her reflection, she doesn't see greatness. So it's back on the chopping table. As a reminder, when we talk about mental health on this channel, we don't necessarily mean there's been a clinical diagnosis of a mental illness. However, we're not excluding it either. I'm saying that to say this. Tamar's mental health was challenged before depression set in. Depression is prolonging thoughts of hopelessness, right? No future. I'll never be anything, never go anywhere. Before those prolonged thoughts happen, somebody has to repeatedly instill in you that you're not valuable. Somebody has to repeatedly instill in you to question and to have no faith in how you look at yourself, no faith in trusting other people, and no faith in the world at large. And over time, repeatedly, she began to believe those things. She began to adapt a part of her brain to say, you know what? I am worthy. And if I got to use my body, my looks, buy these $1,000 worth of weave, if I got to change my physical appearance to accommodate with the person I'm dealing with, the man in my life, what his preference is, blonde hair, blue eyes, lighter complexion, smaller nose, stay thin. If I got to do those things to feel valuable to this person, I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that. Her mental health was broken down and challenged from young. And that trauma was never resolved. So as she continued to grow physically, that child inside stayed a child, stayed unprotected, desired true love, concern, security. So as Tamar got older and more independent, I believe sis did anything and everything she thought she had to do to protect that wounded child inside. So I would say, first and foremost, Tamar has to learn to forgive herself for being duped, hoodwinked, bamboozled into thinking she's not worthy. She's not pretty enough. She's not talented enough. This is the best you're ever going to get. Tamar has to start there and believe that first. And if you watching this can resonate with the information provided here, or it sounds familiar, I encourage you first to start with forgiving yourself for being duped. Forgiving yourself from believing the BS and the lies that someone you trusted pushed upon you. Hurt people do in fact hurt people. Financially, verbally, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Hurt people hurt people. And if you got the nerve, the God-given nerve to look like you gonna be somebody, those people hone in on you at a vulnerable stage in your life to bring you down to their level so that you too can now be discouraged, not feel great about yourself, lose your faith in humanity, lose your faith in God, lose your faith in the universe at large. Sister Tamar, Sister Tamar's people, I'm going to find your information, your people's information, and send you a copy of my book, a signed copy of my book. And I just want you to read it, sis. My heart goes out to you. We're only a few years apart. And although my childhood and adulthood may not have been as extreme per se as yours, because we're not here to compare struggles, trust and believe when I tell you that I resonate with you with many of your experiences. I resonate with you, sis. And that's why I feel moved to do my due diligence to send you a copy of my book. I hope you get it. Let me know if you do, or don't let me know. I just want to know universally that I took a step to try to help someone who may not have too many people around her that genuinely wants to help her, or that may genuinely know how to help her. I want you to live, and not just physically. I want you to live emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I want you to live, because I promise you it's amazing on the other side. It hurts to heal, and it's an ongoing journey. But I'm telling you from experience, it's amazing on the other side. Woo! There are 8 techniques that I have in my book. Forgiving yourself for being duped is just the first one. So if you want to pick up a copy of my book, I'll put my website link in the description here. And you'll be able to learn the 8 techniques that I personally use to beat manic depression without medication. And some of those techniques I still use today because folks be testing me. Other techniques I may have graduated past per se or replaced them with something else, but this is the core 8. This is the foundational 8 that I used to beat manic depression without medication. So I'll put the link here in the description box. Be sure to check out the information for my sis Alicia, who sponsored this video. Let me get this last piece I've been holding. Who sponsors today's video. And when you hit her up, let her know that you saw her information on Coach V's mental health mukbang. Let her know so that she know that her supporting of me worked. I don't know, y'all. I feel like I just preached a whole sermon today. And if you follow me on any social media platforms, you know that when I go live or when I post a video, I always say, when I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to me. Because the journey to sustain and improve your mental health is just that, it's a journey. You never get to a destination where it's like, okay, I'm done, I ain't got to do no more work. It's a lifelong journey, and it's a rewarding journey. You learn techniques that make it easier to deal and cope with life without medication, right? So that's what I specialize and teach people. So when I'm sharing information or knowledge or experiences with you all, I'm reminding myself of how far I've came. I'm reminding myself of lessons and techniques that I may have forgotten. I'm reminding myself of the inner strength, the God-given inner strength and ability that I currently have to this day, and that will only continue to grow and get stronger as I move forward in my own healing. So I love having conversations like this. All right, y'all know I try to be mindful about the time. This was a really good topic for me. This is our message to Sister Tamar Braxton. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this video and click the notification bell so that you're one of the first people to know when I upload new content. My channel is completely dedicated to mental health and healing without medication because, again, I'm not in a clinical space. I occupy the alternative and holistic space. I would love for you to comment below and let me know what you think about this information, or share some healing techniques that you have, or share a personal message of encouragement that you may have for Tamar as well. Tell your friends about the channel. We are looking for explosive growth before 2020 ends. So I'm looking to hit 1,000 minimum on my channel before 2020 ends. So please, this content resonates with you, subscribe to the channel, share it within your circle. And if you are interested in sponsoring a future Coach V's mental health mukbang, send me a message on this platform or visit my website, which is in the link, or the link is in the description here. I'm going to finish shouting down. I was going to be nice and say something for my family, but it's only 4. And I ain't even about to tease them with this little taste. So I'm just going to finish it off myself. See you next time.